I learn in this letter that Don Pedro of Aragon comes this night to Messina.
He is very nearby this. He was not 3 leagues off when I left him.
How many gentlemen have you lost in this action?
But few of any sort, and none of name.
A victory is twice itself when the achiever brings home full numbers. I find here that Don Pedro hath bestowed much honor on a young Florentine called Claudio.
Much deserved on his part, and equally remembered by Don Pedro. He hath borne himself up beyond the promise of his age, doing, in the figure of a lamb, the feats of a lion.
I pray you, has Signor Montanto returned from the wars, or no?
I know none of that name, lady. There was none such in the army of any sort.
What is he that you ask for, niece?
My cousin means Signor Benedict of Padua.
Oh, he's returned, and as pleasant as ever he was.
He set up his bills here at Messina and challenged Cupid at the flight. My uncle's fool, reading the challenge, subscribed for Cupid and challenged him at the bird bolts. I pray you, how many hath he killed and eaten in these wars? But how many hath he killed? For indeed, I promise to eat all his killing.
Faith, niece, you tax Signor Benedict too much. But he'll be meet with you, I doubt it not.
He hath done good service, lady, in these wars.
You have had musty victual, and he hath hoped to eat it. He is a very valiant trencherman. He hath excellent stomach.
And a good soldier too, lady.
And a good soldier to a lady. But what is he to a lord?
A lord to a lord, a man to a man, stuffed with all honorable virtues.
It is so indeed. He is no less than a stuffed man. But as for the stuffing, well, we are all mortal.
You must not, sir, mistake my niece. There is a kind of merry war betwixt herself and Signor Benedict. They never meet, but there's a skirmish of wit between them.
Alas, but he gets nothing by that. In our last conflict, 4 of his 5 wits went halting off, so that now the whole man is governed with 1. So that if he has enough wit to keep himself warm, let him merit for a difference between him and his horse. It is all wealth he has left in the world to be known a reasonable creature. Who is his companion now? He hath every month a new sworn brother.
Is it possible?
Very easily possible. He wears his faith as but the fashion of his hat. It ever changes with the next block.
I see, lady, the gentleman is not in your books.
No. And he were, I would burn my study. But who is his companion? Is there no young squire now that will make a voyage with him to the devil?
He is most in the company of the right noble Claudio.
Oh, stars, he will hang upon him like a disease. He is sooner caught than the pestilence, and a tiger runs presently mad. Heaven help the noble Claudio. If he have caught the Benedict, it will cost him 1,000 pounds ere he be cured.
I will hold friends with you, lady.
Do, good friend.
You will never run mad, niece.
No, not till a hot January.
Don Pedro is approached.
Good Signor Leonato, you are come to meet your trouble. The fashion of the world is to avoid cost, and you encounter it.
Never came trouble to my house from the likeness of your grace. For trouble being gone, comfort should remain. But when you depart from me, sorrow abides, and happiness takes his leave.
You embrace your charge too willingly. I think this is your daughter?
Her mother hath many times told me so.
You doubt, sir, that you asked her?
Signor Benedict, no, for then were you a child.
You have it full, Benedict. We may guess by this what you are, being a man. Truly, the lady fathers herself. Be happy, lady, for you are like an honorable father.
If Signor Leonato be her father, she would not have his head on her shoulders for all Messina, as like him as she is.
I wonder that you would still be talking, Signor Benedict. No one marks you.
What might be Lady Disdain? Are you yet living?
Is it possible Disdain should die when she has such meat food to feed it as Signor Benedict? Courtesy itself must convert to disdain if you come in her presence.
Then is courtesy a turncoat. For it is certain I am loved of all women. Only you accepted. I could find in my heart that I had not a hard heart. For truly, I love none.
A dear happiness to women. They would else be troubled with a pernicious suitor. I thank God in my cold blood I'm of your humor for that. I would rather hear my dog bark at a crow than a man swear he loves me.
God keep your ladyship in that mind, so some gentleman or other shall escape a predestinate scratched face.
Well, scratching could not make it worse, and for such a face as yours were,
teacher.
A bird of my tongue is better than a beast of yours.
I would my horse at the speed of your tongue. And so good at continuing. But keep away in God's name. I have time.
You always end with the jade's trick. I know you of old.
That is the sum of all, Leonato. Signor Claudio and Signor Benedict, my dear friend Leonato, hath invited you all. I tell him we shall stay here at the least a month, and he heartily prays some occasion may detain us longer. I dare swear he is no hypocrite, but prays from his heart.
If you swear, my lord, you shall not be forsworn. Let me bid you welcome, my lord. Being reconciled to the prince, your brother, I owe you all duty.
I thank you. I am not a man of many words, but I thank
Well, pleasing your grace, lead on.
Benedict, didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonato?
I noted her not, but I looked on her.
Is she not a modest young lady?
Do you ask me as an honest man should, for my simple, true judgment, or would you have me speak after my custom, as being a professed tyrant of their sex?
Nay, I pray thee, speak in sober judgment.
Why, in faith, methinks she's too low for high praise, too brown for fair praise, and too little for great praise. Only this commendation I can afford her, that were she other than she is, she were unhandsome. And being no other but as she is, I do not like her.
Thou thinkest I am in sports. I pray thee, tell me truly how thou likest her.
Would you buy her that you inquire after her?
Can the world buy such a jewel?
Yea, in a case to put it into. Because a sad rhyme. Or do you play the flouting jack to tell us Cupid is a good hair finder and Vulcan a rare carpenter? Come, in what key shall a man take you to go in the song?
In mine eye, she is the sweetest lady that ever I looked on.
I can see yet without spectacles, and I see no such matter. There's her cousin. And were she not possessed with a fury, exceeds her as much in beauty as the 1st of May doth the last of December. But I hope you have no intent to turn husband, have you?
I would scarce trust myself, though I had sworn the contrary, a hero would be my wife.
Is it come to this? In faith, hath the world not one man but he will wear his cap with suspicion? Will I never see a bachelor of threescore again? Go to it, faith, and thou wilt needs thrust thy neck into a yoke, and wear the print of it, and sigh away Sundays. Look, Don Pedro has returned to seek you.
What secret hath held you here, that you followed not to Leonato's?
I would your grace would constrain me to tell.
I charge thee, on thy allegiance.
You hear, Count Claudio, I can be as secret as a dumb man. I would have you think so, but on my allegiance. Mark you this, on my allegiance. He is in love. Now this is your grace's spot. Mark how short his answer is. With Hero, Leonato's short daughter.
If this were so, so were it uttered.
Like the old tale, my lord, it is not so, nor 'twas not so, but God forbid it should be so.
My passion changed not shortly. God forbid it should be otherwise.
Amen, if you love her, for the lady is very well worthy.
You speak this to fetch me in, my lord.
By my troth, I speak my thoughts.
In faith, I spoke mine.
And by my true trust and faith, my lord, I spoke mine.
And I love her. I feel.
That she is worthy, I know.
I neither feel how she should be loved, nor know how she should be worthy, is the opinion that fire cannot melt out of me. I will dine it at the stake.
Thou wast ever an obstinate heretic in the despite of beauty.
And never could maintain his part but in the force of his will.
Ah, that a woman conceived me, I thank her. That she brought me up, I likewise give her most humble thanks. But that I will have her retreat, wind it in my forehead, or hang my bugle in an invisible baldric, all women shall pardon me, because I will not do them the wrong to mistrust any. I will do myself the right to trust none. And the finest, for the which I may go the finer, I will remain a bachelor.
I shall see thee ere I die. Look pale with love.
With anger, with sickness, or with hunger, my lord, never with me. No, that I ever lose more blood to love than I will get again in drinking. Pick out mine eyes with the ballad maker's pennant. Hang me on the door of a brothel as a sign for blind Cupid.
Well, if ever thou dost fall from this faith, thou wilt prove a notable argument.
If I do, hang me in a bottle like a cat and shoot at me. And let me that hits me be clapped on the shoulder and pulled out.
Well, as time shall try. In time the savage bull doth bear the oak.
The savage bull may, but if ever sensible Benedict bear it, pluck out the bull's horns and set them in my forehead, and let me be vilely painted in such great letters as they write. Here is a good horse to hire. Let them signify under my sign. Here you may see Benedict, the married man.
If this should ever happen, then wouldst thou be horn mad.
Nay, if Cupid have not spent all his quiver in Venice, thou wilt quake for this shortly.
I look for an earthquake too, then.
Well, you temporize with the hours. In the meantime, good Signor Benedict, repair to Leonato's. Commend me to him and tell him I will not fail him at supper, for indeed he hath made great preparation.
I have almost matter enough in me for such an embassage, and so I commit you
To the tuition of God. From my house, I had it.
The 6th of July, your loving friend, Benedict.
Nay, not. The body of your discourse is but guarded with fragments, and they are but slightly basted on either. Ere you flaunted ends any further, examine your conscience. And so I leave you.
Highness, your grace may not do me good.
My love is thine to teach. Teach it but how, and thou shalt see how apt it is to learn. Any hard lesson that may do thee good.
Hath Leonato any son, my lord?
No child but Hero. She's his only heir. Dost thou affect her, Claudio?
Oh, my lord. When you went onward on this ended action, I looked on her with a soldier's eye that liked, but had rougher tasks at hand than to drive liking to the name of love. But now that I'm returned, and the war thoughts have left their rooms, come thronging in their places, soft and delicate desires, all prompting me how fair young Hero is, and saying, I liked her ere I went to wars.
Thou wilt be like a lover presently, and tire the hearers with a book of words. If thou dost love fair Hero, cherish it, and I will break with her, and with her father, and thou shalt have her.
Oh, how sweetly thou ministered to love that knows grief by his complexion. But, lest my liking my too sudden seem, I would have it salved with a longer treatise.
And I will fit thee with the remedy. I know we shall have revelling tonight. I will assume thy part in some disguise, and tell fair Hero, I am Claudio. And in her bosom, I'll unclasp my heart, and take her hearing prisoner with the force and strong encounter of my amorous tale. Then after to her father will I break, and the conclusion is, she shall be thine. In practice, let us put it presently.
How now, brother?
Brother! I can tell you strange news that you yet dreamt not of.
Are they good?
As the event stamps them, but they have a good cover, they show well outward. The prince and Count Claudio, walking together in a thick pleached alley in mine orchard, were thus much overheard by a man of mine. The prince discovered to Claudio that he loved my niece, your daughter, and meant to indulge it this night in a dance. And if he found her accordant, he meant to take the present time by the top and instantly break with you of it.
Hath the fellow any wit that told you this?
A good sharp fellow. I will send for him and question him yourself.
No. We will hold it as a dream till it appear itself. But I will acquaint my daughter with all, that she may be the better prepared for an answer, if peradventure this be true. Go you and tell her of it. A good cousin, have a care this busy time.
What think you, my boy? Why are you thus out of measure sad?
There is no measure in the occasion that breeds. Therefore the sadness is without limit.
You should hear reason.
When I heard what blessing brings it,
If not a present remedy, at least a patient sufferance.
I wonder at thou, being as thou sayest thou art, born under Saturn, goest about to apply moral medicine to a mortifying mischief. I cannot hide where I am. I must be sad when I have cause and smile at no man's jest. Eat when I have stomach and wait for no man's litter. Sleep when I am weary and tend on no man's business. Laugh when I am merry and claw to no man's humor.
Yea, but you must not make full show of this, till you may do so without controlment. You have of late stood out against your brother, and he obtained you newly into his grace. Where it is impossible that you should take true root, but by the fair weather you make yourself. It is needful that you frame the present season for your own harvest.
I'd rather be a canker in the hedge than a rose in his grace. And it better fits my blood to be disdained of all than to fashion a carriage to rob blood from many. In this, though I cannot be said to be a flattering, honest man. It must not be denied but that I am a plain-dealing villain. I'm enfranchised with the muzzle and entrusted with the claw. Therefore I have decreed not to sing in my cage. If I had my mouth, I would bite. If I had my liberty, I would do my liking. In the meantime, leave me as I am, and seek not to alter me.
Can you make no use of your discontent?
I make all use of it, for I use it only. Who comes here? What news brought you?
I come yonder from a great supper. The prince, your brother, is royally entertained by Leonato, and I can give you intelligence of an intended marriage.
Will it serve for any model to build mischief on? Who is he for a fool that betroths himself to unquietness?
Marry, it is thy brother's right hand.
Who? The most exquisite Claudio?
Even he.
Proper squire. Which way looks he?
Marry, on Hero, the daughter and heir of Leonato.
Very forward march, chick. How came you to this?
Being entertained as a perfumer as I was smoking a musty room, comes me the prince and Claudio hand in hand in sad conference. I went me behind the arras, and there heard it agreed upon that the prince should woo the hero for himself, and having obtained her, give her to Count Claudio.
Come, let us thither. This may prove food for my displeasure. That young upstart hath all the glory of my overthrow. If I can cross him in any way, I bless myself in every way. You are both sure, and will assist me.
To the death, my lord.
Come, let us to this great banquet. It cheers the greater that I am subdued. For the cook were of my opinion.
No, wait upon your lordship.
Was not Count John here at supper?
I saw him not.
How tartly that gentleman looks. I never can see him, but I'm heartburned an hour after. He is of a very melancholy disposition. You are an excellent man, and we're just midway between him and Benedict. For the one is too like an image and says nothing, and the other is too like my lady's eldest son, evermore tattling.
Well then, have Signor Benedict's tongue in Count John's mouth, and have Count John's melancholy in Signor Benedict's face.
With a good leg and a good foot, uncle, and money enough in his purse, such a man would win any woman in the world, if he could get her goodwill.
By my troth, niece, thou wilt never get thee a husband if thou be so shrewd of thy tongue.
In faith, she is too cursed.
Well, too cursed is more than cursed. I shall lessen God's sending that way if he sent me no husband. For the which blessing I mount him upon my knees every morning and evening. Lord. I cannot endure a husband with a beard on his face. I had rather lie in the woolen.
You may light on a husband that hath no beard.
What should I then do with him? Dress him in my apparel and make him my waiting gentleman? No, uncle. He that hath a beard is more than a youth, and he that hath no beard is less than a man. And he that is more than a youth is not for me. And he that is less than a man, I am not for him.
Well then, go you into hell.
No, but to the gate. And there shall the devil be like an old cuckold with horns on his head, and he'll say, "Get you to heaven, Beatrice! Get you to heaven! Here's no place for you maids!" So deliver I my apes, and away to St. Peter for the heavens. He'll show me where the bachelors sit. And there live we, as merry as the day is long.
Well, niece, I trust you will be ruled by your father.
Yes, faith, it is my cousin's duty to make courtesy and say, "Father, as it please you." But for all that, cousin, let him be a handsome fellow, or else make another courtesy and say, "Father, as it please me."
Daughter, remember what I told you. If the prince do solicit you in that kind, you know your answer.
The fault will be the music, cousin, if you be not wooed in good time. For hear me, hero, wooing, wedding, and repenting are as a Scotch jig, a measure, and a sync pace. The first suit is hot and hasty as a Scotch jig, and full as fantastical. The wedding, mannerly, modest as a measure, full of state and ancientry. And then comes repentance with his bad legs, falls into the sink pace faster and faster till he sinks into his grave.
Cousin, you apprehend passing shrewdly.
I have a good eye, uncle. I can see a church by daylight.
The revelers are entering. Brother, make good will.
Lady, will you walk about with your friend?
So you walk softly and look sweetly and say nothing. I'm yours for the walk, especially when I walk away.
With me in your company?
I may say so when I please.
And when please you to say so?
When I like your favor, for God to bend the lute to me like the case.
My visor is Philemon's roof. Within the house is Jove.
Why then your visor should be thatched?
Speak low, if you speak love.
Will you not tell me who told you so?
No, you shall pardon me.
And will you not tell me who you are neither?
Not now.
That I was disdainful, and that I had my good wit out of 100 merry tales. Well, this was Senior Benedict who said so.
What's he?
Oh, I'm sure you know him well enough.
No, not I, believe me.
Did he never make you laugh?
I pray you. What is he?
Why, he's the prince's jester. A very dull fool. Only liberties delight him, and then the commendation is not in his wit, but in his ability. For he both pleases men and angers them, and the men laugh at him and beat him.
I know the gentleman. I'll tell him what you say.
Do. Help but break a comparison or two on me, which Peregrine did not laugh nor marked at, will strike him into melancholy, and then there's a partridge ring saved for the fool who eat no supper that night. We must follow the leaders.
Sure, my brother is amorous on Hero, and have withdrawn with her father to break with him about it. The lady's follower, one visor remains.
That is Claudio. I know him by his bearing.
Are you not Signor Benedict?
You know me well.
Why, indeed.
You are very near my brother in his love. He is enamored on Hero. I pray you dissuade him from her, for she is no equal for his birth. You may do the part of an honest man in it.
How know you he loves her?
I heard him swear his affection.
As did I too. He swore he would marry her tonight.
Come, let us to this great banquet.
I'll censor I in the name of Benedict, but hear these ill news with ears of Claudio. 'Tis certain so, the prince woos for himself. Friendship is constant in all other things, save in the office and affairs of love. Therefore all hearts in love use their own tongues. Let every eye negotiate for itself, and trust no agent, for beauty is a witch, against whose charms faith melteth into blood. This is an accident of hourly proof, which I mistrusted not. Farewell, therefore, hero.
Count Claudio?
Yea, the same.
Come, will you go with me?
Whither?
About your own business, County, for the prince hath got your hero.
I wish you joy of her.
Why, that's spoken like an honest drovier. So they sell bullocks. But did you think the prince would have served you thus?
I pray you, leave me.
Oh, now you strike like the blind man. It's the boy who stole your beat, and you'll beat the post.
If it will not be, then I'll leave you.
Alas, poor fowl! Now he will creep into the sedges. But that my lady Beatrice should know me, and not know me. The prince's jester. Ha! Maybe then I go under this title because I am married. Yea, but so I am apt to do myself wrong. I am not so reputed. It is the base, though bitter disposition of Beatrice that puts the world into her, so gets me out. Well, I'll be revenged as I may.
Now, Signor, where's the Count? Did you see him?
Troth, my lord, I played the part of Lady Fame. I found him here as melancholy, I told him, and I think I told him true, that your grace had got the goodwill of this young lady. And I offered him my company to bind him up a rod, as being worthy to be whipped.
To be whipped? What's his fault?
Why, the flat transgression of a schoolboy, who, being overjoyed at finding a bird's nest, shows it his companion, and he steals it.
Wilt thou turn a trust into a transgression? The transgression is in the stealer.
Yet it is not amiss the rod had been made, for the rod he might have bestowed upon you, who, as I think it, have stolen the bird's nest.
I will but teach them to sing, and restore them to the owner.
If their singing matches your saying, you say honestly.
Lady Beatrice hath a quarrel to you. The gentleman that danced with her told her she is much wronged by you.
Oh, she misused me past the endurance of a block. In oak but with one green leaf for an answer. My very visor began to assume life and scold with her. She told me, not thinking I had been myself, that I was the prince's jester, that I was duller than a great fog, huddling jest upon jest, with such impossible conveyance that I stood like a man at the mark, with the whole army shooting at me. She speaks poniards, and every word stabs. Were her breath as terrible as her terminations, there would be no living near her. She would infect the North Star. I would not marry her, had she left all Adam had before he transgressed.
Look, here she comes.
Oh, will your grace command me any service to the world's end? I will now on the slightest errand to the antipodes that you can devise to send me. I will fetch a toothpicker from the furthest intimation, and to the hair off the great Thames beard. Do you any emissages to the Pygmies other than will three-word conference with this harpy? Have you no employment for me?
None but to desire your good company.
Oh, here's a dish I love not. I cannot endure my lady tongue.
Lady Beatrice, you have lost the heart of Signor Benedict.
Indeed, my lord, he lent it me a while, and I gave him use for it, a double heart for a single one. Marry, he won it off me before the false dice. Therefore your grace may well say I have lost it.
You have put him down, lady. You have put him down.
So I would not he should do me, my lord, lest I should prove the mother of fools. But here's Count Claudio, whom you sent me to seek.
How now, Count? Wherefore are you sad?
Not sad, my lord.
How then? Sick?
Neither, my lord.
The Count is neither sad nor sick, nor merry nor well, but a civil Count. Civil as an orange, and something of that jealous complexion.
Faith, lady, I think you're blazing to be true. Though I'll be sworn if he be so, his conceit is false. Come, Claudio, I have wooed in thy name, and fair hero is won. I have broke with her father, and his goodwill obtained. Name the day of marriage, and God give thee joy.
Count, take of me my daughter, and with her my fortunes. His grace hath made the match, and in grace say amen to it.
Speak, Count, 'tis your cue.
Silence is the perfectest herald of joy. I were but little happy if I could say how much. Lady, as you are mine, I am yours. I give myself away for you and dote upon the exchange.
Speak, cousin, or if you cannot, stop his mouth with a kiss and let him not speak neither.
In faith, lady, you have a merry heart.
I thank it, poor fool. It keeps on the windy side of care. My cousin tells him in his ear that he is in her heart.
And so she doth, cousin.
Good day for an alliance. Thus goes everyone to the world but I, and I am sunburnt. I be sit in a corner and cry, hi-ho for a husband.
Lady Beatrice, I will get you one.
I would rather have one of your father's getting. Hath your grace near a brother like you? Your father got excellent husbands if a maid could come by them.
Will you have me, lady?
No, my lord. Unless I might have another for working days. Your grace is too costly to wear every day. But I beseech your grace pardon me, for I was born to speak all mirth and no matter.
Your silence most offends me, and to be merry best becomes you. For out of question, you were born in a merry hour.
No, indeed, my lord, my mother cried. But then a star danced, and under that was I born. Cousins, God give you joy.
Niece, we'll look to those things I told you of.
I cry your mercy, uncle. By your grace's pardon.
By my troth, a pleasant-spirited lady.
There's little of the melancholy element in her. She's never sad but when she sleeps. and not ever sad then. For I have heard my daughter say that she hath oft grieved of unhappiness, and waked herself with laughing.
She cannot endure to hear tell of a husband.
Oh, by no means, my lord. She mocks all her wooers out of suit.
She were an excellent wife for Benedict.
My lord, if they were but a week married, they would talk themselves mad.
County Claudio, when mean you to go to church?
Tomorrow, my lord. Time goes on crutches till love have all his rights.
Not till Monday, my dear son, which is hence a just seven-night, and too short a time to have all things answer my mind.
Come, you shake your head at so long a breathing. But I'll warn thee, Claudio, the time shall not go dully by us. I will in the interim undertake one of Hercules' labors, which is to bring Signor Benedict and the Lady Beatrice into a mountain of affection, the one with the other. I would fain have it a match, and I doubt not but to fashion it, if you three will but minister such assistance as I shall give you direction.
My lord, I am for you, though it cost me 10 nights' watchings.
And I, my lord.
And you too, gentle hero?
I will do any modest office, my lord, to help my cousin to a good husband.
And Benedict is not the unhopeless husband that I know of. Thus far can I praise him. He is of noble strain, of proved valor, and confirmed honesty. I will teach you how to humor your cousin, that she shall fall in love with Benedict. And I, with your two helps, will so practice on Benedict that, in despite of his quick wit and his queasy stomach, he shall fall in love with Beatrice. If we can do this, Cupid is no longer an archer. His glory shall be ours, for we are the only love gods. Go in with me, and I will tell you my drift.
It is so. Count Claudio shall marry the daughter of Leonato.
Yea, my lord, but I can cross it.
Any bar, any impediment, any cross will be medicinal to me. I am sick in displeasure to him, and whatsoever comes athwart his affection ranges evenly with mine. How canst thou cross this marriage?
Not honestly, my lord, but so covertly no dishonesty shall appear in me.
Show me briefly how.
I think I told your lordship a year since how I am in the favor of Margaret, the way
I remember.
To hero. I can at any unseasonable instant of the night appoint her to look out at her lady's chamber window.
What life is in that to be the death of this marriage?
The poison of that lies in you to temper. Go you to the prince your brother. Spare not to tell him that he hath wronged his honor in marrying Claudio, whose estimation do you mightily hold up, to a contaminated stale, such a one as Hero.
And what proof shall I make of that?
Proof enough to misuse the prince, to vex Claudio, to undo Hero, and to kill Leonato. Look you for any other issue?
Only to despite them I will endeavor anything.
Go then. Find me a meet hour to draw Don Pedro and the Count Claudio alone. Tell them that you know that Hero loves me. Intend a kind of zeal both to the prince and Claudio as, in love of your brother's honor, who hath made this match, and his friend's reputation, who is thus likely to be cozened with the semblance of a maid, that you have discovered thus. They will scarcely believe this without trial. Offer them instances which shall bear no less likelihood than to see me at her chamber window. Hear me call Margaret Hero, and bring them to see this the very night before the intended wedding. For in the meantime I will so fashion the matter that Hero shall be absent, and there shall appear such seeming truth of Hero's disloyalty that jealousy shall be called assurance, and all the preparation overthrow.
Grow this to what adverse issue it can. I will put it into practice. Be you cunning in the working of this, and my fee is 1,000 ducats.
Be you constant in your accusation, and my cunning shall not shame me.
I will presently go and learn the day of the marriage.
Boy!
Signor?
In my chamber window lies a book. Bring it to me here in the orchard.
I am here already, sir.
I know that, but I would have thee hence, and here again. I do much wonder that one man, seeing how much another is a fool when he dedicates his behaviors to love, will, after he hath laughed at such shallow follies in others, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio. I have known when he would have walked 10 miles afoot to see good armor. And now he will lie 10 nights awake, carving the fashion of a new doublet. May I be so converted and see with these eyes? I cannot tell. I think not. I will not be sworn to it, but love may transform me to an oyster. But I'll take my oath on it. Till he have made me such an oyster, he will never make me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another is wise, yet I am well. Another is virtuous, yet I am well. But till all graces come into one woman, not one woman will come into my graces. Rich she shall be, that's certain. Wise, for all none. Virtuous, I'll never cheapen her. Fair, or I'll never look on her. Mild, or come not near me. Noble, or not I for an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician, and her hair shall be of whatever color it pleases God. The prince and Monsignor love. I will be the augur.
Come, shall they hear this music?
Yea, my good lord. How still the evening is, as hushed on purpose to grace harmony.
See you where Benedict hath hid himself?
Oh, very well, my lord. The music ended. We'll fit the kid fox with a penny word.
Ah. Come, Balthazar, we'll hear that song again.
Now, divine heir, now is his soul ravished. Is it not strange that sheep's guts should hale souls out of men's bodies? Well, a horn for my money when all's done.
Sigh no more, lady, sigh no more. Men were deceivers ever, one foot on sea, and one on shore, constant to one thing never. Oh, but sigh not so, and let them go. Be you blithe and bonny, converting all your songs of woe into hey nonny nonny.
By my troth, a good song.
And an ill singer, my lord.
Ha! No, no, faith. Thou singest well enough. For a shift. I pray thee, get us some excellent music, for tomorrow night we would have it at the Lady Hero's chamber window.
The best I can, my lord.
Do so. Farewell. Come hither, Leonato. What was it you told me of today, that your niece Beatrice was in love with Signor Benedict?
Why, stuck on, thou sits. I did never think that lady would have loved any man.
No, nor I neither, but most wonderful that she should so dote on Signor Benedict, whom she hath in all outward behaviors ever seemed to abhor.
Is it possible? Sits the wind in that corner?
By my troth, I cannot tell what to think of it, but that she loves him with an enraged affection. It is past the infinite of thought.
Maybe she doth but counterfeit.
Faith, like enough.
Oh, counterfeit! There was never counterfeit of passion came so near the life of passion as she discovers it.
Why? What effects of passion shows she?
Make the hook well. This fish will bite.
What effects, my lord? She will sit you. You heard my daughter tell you how.
How? How, pray you? I would have thought her spirit had been invincible against all assaults of affection.
I would have sworn it had, my lord, especially against Benedict.
I should think this a gull, but that the white-bearded fellow speaks it. Knavery cannot sure hide itself in such reverence.
You have taken the affection. Hold it up.
Has she made her affection known to Benedict?
No, and swears she never will. That's her torment.
'Tis true indeed, so your daughter says. Shall I, says she, that have so often countered him with scorn, write to him that I love him?
This says she when she is beginning to write to him, for she'll be up 20 times a night. And there will she sit in her smock till she have writ a sheet of paper. My daughter tells us all.
Now you mention a sheet of paper. I remember a pretty jest your daughter told us of.
Oh, when she had read it and was reading it over, she found Benedict and Beatrice between the sheet. She tore it into 1,000 halfpence, railed at herself that she should be so immodest as to write to one she knew would flout her. I measure him, says she, by my own spirit, for I know that if he writ to me, I should flout him, yea, though I love him, I should.
Then down upon her knees she falls, weeps, sobs, beats her heart, tears her hair, prays, curses. Oh, sweet Benedict! God give thee patience!
"'Tis very true, she doth indeed, and the ecstasy hath so much overborne her, that my daughter fears she will do a desperate outrage to herself. 'Tis very true."
It were well that Benedict knew of it by some other, if she will not discover it.
To what end? He would make a sport of it and torment the poor lady worse.
And he should, for an alms to hang him. She's an excellent sweet lady, and out of all suspicion, she is virtuous.
And she's exceeding wise.
In everything but in loving Benedict.
Oh, my lord, wisdom and blood combating in so tender a body, we have 10 proofs to 1 that blood hath the victory. I am sorry for her, as I have just cause, being her uncle and her guardian.
I would she'd bestowed this dotage on me. I would have daffed all other respects, and made her half myself. I pray you, tell Benedict of it, and hear what he will say.
Were it good, think you?
Hero thinks that surely she will die. For she says she will die if he love her not. And she will die if she make her love known to him. And she will die if he woo her, rather than she will bate one breath of her accustomed crossness.
She doth well. If she should make tender of her love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it. For the man, you know all, hath a contemptible spirit.
He's a very proper man.
He hath indeed a good outward happiness.
Before God, and in my mind, very wise.
He doth indeed show some sparks that are like wit.
And I take him to be valiant.
As valiant as Hector, I assure you. And in the managing of quarrels, you may say he is wise. For either he avoids them with a great discretion, or undertakes them with a most Christian-like fear.
If he do fear God, he ought to keep the peace. If he break the peace, he ought to enter into any quarrel with fear and trembling.
And so will he do, for the man doth fear God, howsoever it seems not in him by some large jests he will make. Well, shall we go seek Benedict and tell him of her love?
Never tell him, my lord. Let her wear it out with good counsel.
Nay, that's impossible. She may wear her heart out first.
Well, we will hear further of it by your daughter. Let it cool a while. I'm sorry for your niece. I love Benedict well, and I could wish that he would modestly examine himself to see how much he is unworthy so good a lady.
My lord, will you walk? Dinner is ready.
If you do not dote on her upon this, I will never trust my expectation.
Let the same net be spread for her, and that must your daughter and her gentlewoman carry. The sport will be when they hold one an opinion of another's dotage, and no such matter.
Now that's the scene that I would see, which will be merely a dumb show.
Let us send her to call him into dinner.
This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. They have the truth of this from Hero. They seem to pity the lady. Since her affections have their full bent. Love me? Why, it must be requited. I hear how I am censured. They say I will bear myself proudly if I perceive that love come from her. They say, too, she would rather die than give me any sign of affection. I did never think to marry. I must not seem too proud. Happy are they that can hear their detractions and put them to mending. They say the lady is fair, 'tis truth. I can bear them witness. And virtuous, 'tis so, I cannot reprove it. And wise, but for loving me. It's no addition to her great wit, nor no argument for her folly, for I will be horribly in love with her. I may chance have some odd quirks and remnants of wit broken on me because I have railed so long against marriage, but doth not the appetite alter? The man loves in his youth the meat he cannot endure in his age. Shall quips and sentences and these paper bullets of the brain awe a man from the career of his humor? No! The world must be peopled! When I said I would die a bachelor, I did not think I should live till I were married. Oh, here comes Beatrice. By this day she's a fair lady. I do spy some marks of love in her.
Against my will, I've been sent to bid you come in to dinner.
Fair Beatrice, I thank you for your pains.
I took no more pains for those thanks than you took pains to thank me. If it had been painful, I would not have come.
You took pleasure in it then?
Yea, just so much as you may take in a knife's point. No gadal with all. You have no stomach, senior? Very well.
Against my will, I am sent to bid you come to dinner. There's a double meaning in that! I took as many pains for those thanks as you took to thank me. That's as much to say, any pains I take for you is as well as thanks. If I do not love the lady, I am a villain. I will go get her picture.
Good Margaret, run thee to the parlor. There shalt thou find my cousin Beatrice proposing with the Prince and Claudio. Whisper her ear and tell her I and Ursula walk in the orchard, and our whole discourse is all of her. Say that thou overheardst us, and bid her steal into the pleached bower. This is thy office. Bear thee well in it, and leave us alone.
I'll make her come. I warrant you, present.
Now, Ursula, when Beatrice doth come, as we do trace this alley up and down, our talk must only be of Benedict. When I do name him, let it be thy part to praise him more than ever man did merit. My talk to him must be of how Benedict is sick in love with Beatrice. Of this matter is little Cupid's crafty arrow made that only wounds my hearsay. Now begin, for look, where Beatrice, like a lapwing, runs close by the ground to hear our conference.
The pleasantest angling is to see the fish, cut with her golden oars the silver stream, and greedily devour the treacherous bait. So angle we for Beatrice, who even now is couched in the woodbine coverture. Fear you not my part of the dialogue?
Then go we near her, that her ear lose nothing of the false sweet fate that we laid for it. No, truly, Ursula, she is too disdainful. I know her spirits are as coy and wild as haggards of the rock.
But are you sure that Benedict loves Beatrice so entirely?
So says the prince and my new troth lord.
And did they bid you tell her of it, madam?
They did entreat me to acquaint her of it, but I persuaded them, if they love Benedict, to wish him wrestle with affection, and never to let Beatrice know of it.
Why did you so? Doth not the gentleman deserve as full as fortunate a bed as ever Beatrice shall have to both?
Oh, God of love, I know he doth deserve as much as may be yielded to a man, but nature never framed a woman's heart of prouder stuff than that of Beatrice. Disdain and scorn right sparkling in her eyes, misprizing what they look on, and her wit values itself so highly that to her all matter else seems weak. She cannot love, nor take no shape nor project of affection. She is so self-endeared.
Sure, I think so. And therefore certainly it were not good she knew his love, lest she make sport at it.
Why, you speak truth. I never yet saw a man, how wise, how noble, how rarely featured, but she would spell him backward. If fair-faced, she would swear the gentleman to be her sister. By nature, drawing of an antique, made a foul blot. If tall, a lance, ill-headed. If low, an agate, very vilely cut. If speaking, a vein blown with all winds. If silent, a block,
moved with none.
So she turns every man the wrong side out, and never gives to truth and virtue that which simpleness and merit purchaseth.
Sure, sure. Such carping is not commendable.
No, not to be so odd and from all fashions as Beatrice's cannot be commendable. Therefore let Benedict, like covered fire, consume away in sighs, waste inwardly. It were better death than die with mocks, which is as bad as that of tickling.
Yet tell her of it, madam. Hear what she will say.
No, rather I will go to Benedict and counsel him to fight against his passion.
She cannot be so much without true judgment, having so swift and excellent a wit as she is prized to have, as to refuse so rare a gentleman as Signor Benedict.
He is the only man of Italy.
Always excepted my dear Claudio.
I pray you, be not angry with me, madam, speaking my fancy. For shape, for bearing, argument, and valor, Signor Benedict goes foremost in report through Italy.
Indeed, he hath an excellent good name.
His excellence did earn it, ere he had it. And when are you married, madam?
Why, every day tomorrow. Come, go in. I'll show thee some attires, and have thy counsel on which is best to furnish me tomorrow.
She's limed, I warned you. We've caught her, madam.
If it proves so, then loving goes by haps. Some Cupid kill with arrows, and some with traps. What fire is in mine ears? Can this be true? Stand I condemned for pride and scorn so much? Contempt? Farewell, and maiden pride adieu. No glory lives behind the backs of such. And Benedict? Love on, I will requite thee, taming my wild heart to thy loving hand. If thou dost love, my kindness shall incite thee to bind our loves up in a holy band. For others say thou dost deserve, and I believe it better than reportingly.
I do but stay till your marriage be consummate. Then go I toward Aragon.
I'll bring you thither, my lord, if you'll not stay.
Nay, that would be as great a soil in the new gloss of your marriage as to show a child his new coat and forbid him to wear it. I will only be bold with Benedict for his company. For from the crown of his head, the sole of his foot, he's all mirth. He hath twice or thrice cut Cupid's bowstring, and the little hangman dare not shoot at him. He hath a heart as sound as a bell, and his tongue is the clapper.
Gallants, I'm not as I have been.
So say I. Methinks you are sadder.
I hope ye be in love.
Hang him, truant. There's no true drop of blood in him to be truly touched by love. If he be sad, he wants money.
I have a toothache.
Draw it.
Hang it.
You must hang it first and draw it afterwards.
What? Sigh for the toothache?
Where is but a humor or a worm?
Well, every man can master a grief, but he that has it.
Yet say I, he is in love.
There is no appearance of fancy in him. Must it be a fancy that he hath to strange disguises? Must it be a Dutchman today, a Frenchman tomorrow, or in the shape of two countries at once? As a German from the waist down, all slumps, and a Spaniard from the hip upward, no doublet.
If he be not in love with some woman, there's no believing old signs. He brushes his hat o' mornings. What should that bode?
Hath any man seen him at the barber's?
Nay, but the barber's man hath been seen with him, and already the old ornaments of his cheek hath stuffed tennis balls.
Indeed, he looks younger than he did, by the loss of a beard.
Nay, he rubs himself with a civet. Can you smell him out by that?
That's as much to say the sweet youth's in love.
The greatest note of it is his melancholy.
And when was he wont to wash his face?
Yea.
Nay, but his jesting spirit, which is now crept into a lute string, and now governed with stops.
Indeed, that tells a heavy tale for him. Conclude. Conclude. He is in love.
Nay, but I know who loves him.
Ha, that would I know too. I warrant, one that knows him not.
Yea, and his ill conditions. And despite of all, dies for him.
She shall be buried with her face upwards.
Yet this is no charm for the toothache. Good Signor, walk aside with me. I have studied 8 or 9 wise words which these hobby horses must not hear.
For my life, to break with him about Beatrice.
'Tis even so. Hero and Margaret have by this played their parts with Beatrice, so that now the two bears will not bite one another when we meet.
My lord and brother, God save.
Good evening, brother.
Your leisure served, I would speak.
In private?
If it please you, yet Count Claudio may remain, or I would speak of concerns.
What's the matter?
Means your lordship to be married tomorrow night?
You know he does.
I know not that when he knows what I know.
If there be any impediments, I pray you discover it.
You may think I love you not. Let that appear hereafter. And aim that be better by that now I will manifest. For my brother, I think he holds you in dearness of heart, and hath hoped to effect your ensuing marriage. Surely suit he'll spend in labor ill bestowed.
Why? What's the matter?
I came hither to tell you, and circumstances being shortened, she has been too long the talking of. The lady is disloyal.
Who? Hero?
Even she. Your hero, Leonardo's hero. Every man's hero.
Disloyal?
The word is too good to paint out her wickedness. I could say she were worse. Think you of a worse word, and I will fit it to her. Wonder not to further want. Go with me but tonight, and you will see her chamber window enter, even the night before her wedding day. If you love her, then tomorrow wed her. But it would better fit your honor to change her mind.
May this be so?
I will not think it.
You dare not trust that you see, confess not that you know. If you will go with me, I will show you enough. And when you have heard more and seen more, proceed accordingly.
If I see anything tonight, why I should not marry her tomorrow in the congregation where I should wed, there will I shame her.
And as I wooed for thee to obtain her, I will join with thee to disgrace her.
I will disparage her no farther till you are my witnesses. Very coldly but till midnight. Let the issue show itself.
Oh, day untowardly turned.
Oh, mischief strangely thwarting.
Oh, plague right well prevented. So you will say when you have seen the sequel.
Are you good men and true?
Yea, or else were pitied, but they should suffer salvation, body and soul.
Nay, that were a punishment too good for them, if they should have any allegiance in them, being chosen for the prince's watch.
Well, give them their charge, neighbor Dogberry.
First, who think you the most dishonorous man to be constable?
Hugh Oatcake, sir, or George Seacle, for they can write and read.
Come hither, neighbor Seacole. God hath blessed you with a good name. To be a well-favored man is the gift of fortune, but to write and read comes by nature.
A copious master constable.
You have, I knew it would be your answer. Well, for your good favor, so I give God thanks, and make no boast of it. And for your writing and reading, why, let that appear when there is no need for such vanity. You are thought here to be the most senseless and fit man for constable of the watch. Therefore, bear you the lantern. This is your charge. You shall comprehend all vagrant men. You are to bid any man stand in the prince's name.
How if he will not stand?
Why then, take no note of him, but let him go. And presently, call the rest of the watch together, and thank God you are rid of a knave.
If he will not stand when he is bidden, he is none of the prince's subjects.
True, and they are to man with none but the prince's subjects. You shall also make no noise in the streets, for the watch to babble and to talk is most tolerable and not to be endured.
We will not talk, sir. We would rather sleep. We know what belongs to a watch.
Why, You speak like a peaceful, most ancient and quiet watchman. For indeed I cannot see how sleeping should offend. Only have a care that your bills be not stolen. Well, you shall also call it all alehouses, and bid those that are drunk get them to bed.
How if they will not?
Why then, let them alone till they are sober. If they make you not then the better answer, you may say they are not the men you took them for.
Well, sir.
If you meet a thief, you may suspect him, by virtue of your office, to be no true man. And for such kind of men, why, the less you meddle or make with them, the more is for your honesty.
If we know him to be a thief, shall we not lay hands on him?
Truly, by your office you may, but I think they that touch pinch will be defiled. The most peaceful way for you, if you is to let him show himself what he is, and steal out of your company.
You have been always called a merciful man, partner.
True, I would not hang a dog by my will, much more man have any honesty in him.
If you hear a child cry in the night, you must call to the nurse and bid her still it.
What if the nurse is asleep and will not hear us?
Why then, go in peace, and let the child wake her with crying. For a ewe that will not hear her lamb when it baws, will never answer a calf when he bleats.
Very true.
This is the end of the charge. You, constable, are to present the prince's own person. If you meet the prince in the night, you may stay him.
Our lady, I think he cannot.
5 shillings to 1 ounce, with any man that knows the statutes, that he may. Marry, not without the prince be willing. For the watch ought to offend no man, and it is an offense to stay any man against his will.
But our lady, I think it be so.
Ha ha! Well, masters, good night. If there be any matter of weight chances, call up me. Keep your fellows' counsel and your own, and good night. Come, neighbor.
Well, partner, we hear our charge. Let us sit here upon the church bench till 2, and then all to bed.
One word more, honest neighbors. I beseech you, watch about Signor Leonato's door tonight, for the wedding being there tomorrow, there is a great coil this night. Adieu, be vigilant, I beseech you.
What? Conrad! Stir not. Conrad, I say! Here, man. I'm at thy elbow. Mass, my elbow itch. Thought there was a scab follow. I will be an answer for that. And now forward with thy tale. Yes, stand thee close unto this penthouse. For it drizzles rain, and I will, like a true drunkard, I will all sleep.
Some treason, partner, yet stand close.
Therefore know I have earned Don John 1,000 ducats.
Is it possible that any villainy should be so dear?
Thou shouldst rather ask for possible. Any villainy should be so rich, for when rich villains have neither poor ones may make the price they will.
I wonder at it.
That shows thou art unconfirmed. Thou knowest that fashion way doublets or a hat or a cloak is nothing to a man?
Yes, it is apparel.
I mean the fashion.
Yes, the fashion is the fashion.
I may as well say, the fool's the fool. But seest thou not, I say, what a deformed thief this fashion is?
I know that deformed. He's been a vile thief this 7 years. He walks up and down like a gentleman. I remember his name.
Did someone out here, somebody?
No. What's the veil in the house?
Seest thou not, I say, what a deformed thief this fashion is, how giddily he turns about all the hot bloods between 14 and 5 and 30, sometimes fashioning them like Pharaoh soldiers in a reeky painting, sometimes like God's bells priests in the old church window.
All this I see.
And I see that the fashion wears out more apparel than the man. But art not thou thyself giddy with the fashion too, that thou hast shifted out of thy tale into telling me of the fashion?
Not so either. Oh, glide of tonight, rude Margaret, lady hero, gentlewoman. I love hero. She leads me out of her mistress's chamber window, bids me 1,000 times good night. I tell this tale vilely. I should first tell thee how the prince, Claudio, and my master, planted, placed, and possessed by my master Don John, saw far off in the orchard this amiable encounter.
And thought they, Margaret was hero.
2 of them did, the prince and Claudio, but the devil my master who chose Margaret. And partly by his oaths which first possessed them, partly by the dark night which did deceive them, but chiefly by my villainy which did confirm any slander Don John had made. Away went Claudio enraged. So I came here next morning as she was appointed at the temple, and there, before the whole congregation, shame her, and send her home again without a husband.
We charge you in the prince's name! Stand!
All right, Master Constable. We've recovered the most daring piece of country that ever was known in the world.
And one of corn is one of them. I know him. He wears a lock.
Masters!
You may bring one forth, I warn you.
Masters!
Never speak. We charge you to let us obey you to go with us.
Has proof a goodly commodity being taken up with these men's bills?
A commodity in question, I'll warrant. Come, we'll obey you.
Good Ursula, wake my cousin Beatrice and desire her to ride.
I will, lady.
And bid her come hither.
Well. Troth, I think your other rubato were better.
No, pray thee, good Meg. I'll wear this.
By my troth, it's not so good. I warrant your cousin will say so.
My cousin's a fool, and thou art another. I'll wear none but this.
I like the new tire within excellently. If the hair were a thought browner, and your gown's a most rare fashion of faith.
God give me joy to wear it, for my heart is exceeding heavy.
'Twill be heavier soon by the weight of a man.
Fie upon thee! I'm not ashamed.
Ashamed of what, lady? Of speaking honorably? Is not marriage honorable to beggar? Is not your lord honorable without marriage? I think you would have me say, saving your reverence, a husband. And bad thinking do not rest true speaking, I'll offend no one. Is there any harm in the heavier for a husband? None, I think. Ask your cousin Beatrice else. Here she comes.
Good morrow, coz.
Good morrow, sweet hero.
Why have now you speak in this sick tune?
I am all out of other tunes, methinks. What's into light and love? That goes without a burden. Do you sing it? And I'll dance.
Ye light of love with your heels? Well, if your husband have stables enough, you shall see he lacks no barns.
Oh, illegitimate construction. I scorn that with my heels.
'Tis past 5 o'clock, cousin. 'Tis time you were ready. By my troth, I am exceeding ill.
Hi-ho! For a hawk, a horse, or a husband?
For the letter that begins them all, H.
Send everyone her heart's desire.
These gloves the Count sent me, they're an excellent perfume. I am stuffed, cousin, I cannot smell.
Oh, a maid and stuffed. There's a goodly catching of cold.
By my troth, I am sick.
Get you some of this distilled carduous benedictus and lay it to your heart. It's the only thing for a qual.
There thou prickest her with the thistle. Benedictus? Why Benedictus? You have some moral with this Benedictus.
Moral? No, by my troth, I have no moral meaning. I meant plain holy thistle.
that you're in love. Nay, by'r lady, I'm not such a fool to think what I list, nor I list not to think what I can, nor indeed I cannot think. If I were to think my heart out of thinking that you are in love, or that you will be in love, or that you can be in love. And yes, Benedict was such another. And now has he become a man? He swore he would never marry, and yet in spite of his heart, he eats his meat without grudging. And how you may be converted, I know not. But methinks you look with your eyes as other women do. What pace is this thy tongue keeps? Not a false gallop.
Madam, withdraw. The prince, the count, Signor Benedict, John, all the gals of the Benedict church.
Help the dress be good cut, good neck, good Ursula.
What would you with me, honest neighbor?
Marry, sir, we would have some confidence with you that discerns you nearly.
Brief, I pray you, for you see it is a busy time with me.
Marry, this it is, sir.
Yes, in truth it is, sir. What is it, my good friends?
Good man Burgess, sir, speaks a little off the matter. An old man, sir, and his wits are not so blunt as, God help, I would desire they were. Faith, sir, honest as the skin between his brows.
Yes, I thank God I am as honest as any man living. That is an old man, and no honester than I.
Comparisons are odorous. Palabras, neighbor Burgess.
Neighbors, you are tedious.
It pleases your worship to say so, but we are the poor duke's officers. But for my own part, and I were tedious as a king, I could find it in my heart to bestow it all of your worship.
All thy tediousness on me, huh?
Pay him for £1,000 more than 'tis. For I hear as good an exclamation on your worship as of any man in the city. And though I am but a poor man, I am glad to hear it.
And so am I. I would fain know what you have to say.
Marry, sir, our watch tonight, accepting your worship's presence, ta'en a couple of as errant knaves as any in Messina.
That old man, sir, he will be talking. As they say, when the age is in, the wit is out. God help us, it's a world to see. Well said, a faith, neighbor Burgess. God's a good man, and two men ride a horse, one must ride behind. And on his soul, sir, faith, by my troth he is, as ever broke bread. But God is to be worshipped, all men are not alike. Alas, good neighbor.
Indeed, neighbor, he comes too short of you.
Gifts that God gives.
I must leave you.
One word, sir. Our watch, sir, have indeed comprehended two auspicious persons, and we would have them this morning examined before your worship.
Well, take their examination yourself, and bring it me. I am now in great haste, as it may appear unto you.
It shall be suffrages.
Drink some wine ere you go. Very well.
Go, good partner, go. Get you to George Seacole, bid him bring his pen and inkhorn, and have him meet us at the jail. We are now to examination, these men.
And we must do it wisely.
We shall spare for no wit, I warrant you. Here's that you'll bring some of them to a non-com. Only have the learned writer set down our excommunication, and meet me at the jail.
Come, Friar Francis, be brief. Only to the plain form of marriage, and you shall recount the particular duties afterwards.
You come hither, my lord, to marry this lady.
No.
To be married to her. Friar, you come to marry her.
Lady, you come hither to be married to this count.
I do.
If either of you know any inward impediment why you should not be conjoined, charge you on your souls to utter it.
Know you any, hero?
None, my lord.
Know you any, count?
I dare make his answer. None.
Oh, what men dare do. What men may do. What men daily do, not knowing what they do.
I know. Interjections? Why didn't somebody else laughing as
Standing by, friar. Father, will you with free and unconstrained spirit give me this maid, your daughter?
As freely, son, as God did give her me.
And what have I to give you back whose worth may counterpoise this rich and precious gift?
Nothing, unless you render her again.
Sweet prince, you learn me noble thankfulness. There, Leonato, take her back again. Give not this rotten orange to your friend. She's but the sign and semblance of her honor. Behold, how like a maid she blushes here. Comes not thy blood to witness simple evidence as modest virtue? Would you not swear, all that you see her here, that she were a maid by these exterior shows? But she is none! She knows the heat of a luxurious bed. Her blush is guiltiness, not modesty.
What do you mean, my lord?
Not to be married, not to knit my soul to an approved wanted.
Dear my lord, if you and your own crew have vanquished the resistance of her youth and made defeat of her virginity...
I know what you'll say, Leonato. You'll say if I had known her, then she'd have embraced me as a husband, and so extenuate the forehand sin. No, Leonato, I never tempted her with word too large, but as brother to his sister ever showed bashful sincerity and comely love.
And seemed I ever otherwise to you?
Out on me! See me! I will write against it! Thou seemest to me as dying in her orb, as chaste as is the bud ere it be blown. But you are more intemperate in your blood than Venus, those pampered animals that rage in savage sensuality.
Is my lord well that he doth speak so wise?
Sweet prince, why speak not you?
What should I speak? I stand dishonored that have gone about to link my dear friend to a common stale.
Are these things spoken, or do I but dream?
Sir, they are spoken, and they are true.
This looks not like a nuptial.
True!
Leonato, stand I here. Is this the prince? Is this the prince's brother? Is this base, heroes? Are our eyes our own?
All this is so, but what of this, my lord?
Let me move but one question to your daughter. And by that fatherly and kindly power that you have in her, bid her answer truly.
I charge thee do so, as thou art my child.
Oh God, defend me! How am I beset? What kind of catechizing call you this?
To make you answer truly to your name.
Is it not Hero? Who can blot that name with any just reproach?
Marry, that can Hero. Hero itself can blot out Hero's virtue. What man was he talked with you yesternight out at your window betwixt 12 and 1? Now, if you are a maid, answer to this.
I talked with no man at that hour, my lord.
Why then you are no maiden. Leonato, I am sorry you must hear. Myself, my brother, and this grieved count did see her, hear her at that hour last night, talk with a ruffian at her chamber window, who hath indeed, most like a liberal villain, confessed the vile encounters they have had 1,000 times in secret.
Fie, they are not to be named, my lord, not to be spoke of. There is not chastity enough in language without offense to utter them. Thus, pretty lady, I am sorry for thy much misgovernment.
Oh, Hero! What a hero hadst thou been if half thy outward graces had been placed about the thoughts and the counsels of thy heart. But fare thee well, thou most foul, most fair. Fare thee well, thou pure impiety and impious purity. For thee I'll lock up all the gates of love, and all my eyelids shall conjecture hang, to turn all beauty into thoughts of harm, and never shall it be more gracious.
Hath no man's dagger here a point for me?
Oh no, cousin Hero! Wherefore sinks you down?
Come, let us go. These things must come to light smother our spirits up.
How doth the lady?
Dead, I think. Help, Uncle! Hero! Why, Hero! Uncle Senior Benedict! Friar!
Oh, fate, take not away thy heavy hand. Death is the fairest cover for her shames that may be wished for.
How now, cousin Hero?
Have comfort, lady.
Dost thou look up?
Yea, wherefore should she not?
Wherefore? Why doth not every earthly thing cry shame upon her? Did she here deny the story that is printed in her blood? Do not live, hero. Do not open thine eyes! But did I think thou wouldst not quickly die? Thought I thy spirits were stronger than thy shames. Myself would on the rearward of reproaches strike at thy life. Nay, die, I had but one. Oh, one too much by thee. Why had I one? wast thou ever lovely in mine eyes? Might I not with charitable hand taken up a beggar's issue at my gates, that I might have said, no part of it is mine. This shame derives itself from unknown loins.
Sir, be patient. For my part, I am so attracted mother, I know not what to say.
Oh, upon my soul, my cousin is belied!
Lady, were you her bedfellow last night?
No, truly not. Although until last night, I have this 12-month bitter bedfellow.
Confirmed! That is stronger made as before, barred up with ribs of iron. Would the two princes lie, and Claudio lie? Who, speaking of her foulness, so washed it with tears? Hence from her let her die.
Hear me a little, for I have only been silent so long, and given way into discourse of fortune. By noting of the lady, I have marked 1,000 blushing aberrations to start into her face. 1,000 innocent shames, an angel whiteness, beat away those blushes. And in her eye there hath appeared a fire, to burn away the errors that these princes hold against her maiden truth. Call me a fool, trust not my reading nor my observations, with which experimental seal doth warrant the tenor of my book. Trust not my age, my reverence, calling nor divinity, if this sweet lady lie not guiltless here under some biting error.
Friar, it cannot be. Thou seest that all the grace that she hath left, so she will not add her damnation a sin of perjury. She not denies it. Why seekst thou then to cover with excuse that which appears in proper nakedness?
Lady, what man is he you are accused of?
They know that do accuse me, I know none. If I know more of any man alive than that which maiden modesty doth warrant, let all my sins like mercy. O my father, prove ye that any man converse with me at hours of need, or that I may change a change of words with any creature. Refuse me, hate me, torture me to death.
There is some strange misprision in the princes.
Two of them have the very bent of honor. And if their wisdoms be misledness, the practice of it lives in John the Bastard, whose spirits toil in frame of villainies.
I know not. If they speak truth of her, these hands shall tear her. If they wrong her honor, the proudest of them shall well hear of it. For time hath not yet so dried up this blood of mine, nor age eat up my invention, that they shall find in such a kind ability of means and choice of friends, strength of limb and policy of mind, to quit me of them thoroughly.
Pause a while, and let my counsel sway you in this case. Your daughter here the princes left for dead. Let her a while be secretly kept in, and publish it that she is dead indeed. Maintain a mourning ostentation, and on your family's old monument, hang mournful epitaphs, and do all rites that appertain unto a burial.
What shall become of this? What will this do?
Mary, this well carried shall on her behalf change slander to remorse. That is some good. But not for this dream, I on this strange course, but on this travail look from greater birth. She dying, as it so must be maintained, upon the instant she was accused, shall be lamented, pitied, and excused of every hearer. When he shall hear she died upon his words, the idea of her life shall sweetly creep into his studied imagination. Then shall he mourn, if ever love had interest in his liver, and wish that he had not so accused her.
Signor Leonardo, let the friar advise you. And though you know my inwardness in love is very much into the prince and Claudio, yet by mine honor I will deal with this as secretly and justly as your soul should with your body.
Being that I flow in grief, smallest twine may lead me.
'Tis well consented. Come, lady, die to live. This wedding day perhaps is but prolonged. Have patience and endure.
Lady Beatrice, have you wept all this while?
Yea, and I will weep a while longer.
I would not desire that.
You have no reason. I do it freely.
Surely I do believe your fair cousin is wronged.
Ah, and how much might the man deserve of me that would right her?
Is there any way to show such friendship?
A very even way, but no such friend.
May a man do it?
It is a man's office, but not yours.
I do love nothing in the world so well as you. It's not that strange.
As strange as the thing I know not. It were possible for me to say I love nothing so well as you, but believe me not. And yet I lie not. I confess nothing, nor I deny nothing. I'm sorry for my cousin.
By my sword, Beatrice, thou lovest me.
Do not swear swear by it and eat it.
I will swear by it that you love me. And I will make him eat it that says I love not you,
Will you not eat your word?
with no sauce that can be devised to it. I protest. I love you.
Why then forgive me.
What offense, sweet Beatrice?
You have stayed me in a happy hour. I was about to protest I loved you.
Well, then do it with all thy heart.
I love you with so much of my heart that none is left to protest.
Come, bid me do anything for you.
Kill Claudio.
Huh. Not for the wide world.
You told me to deny it. Farewell.
Tarry, sweet Beatrice.
I am gone though I am here. There is no love in you. May I pray you let me go?
Hear me, Beatrice.
In faith, I will go.
We'll be friends first.
You dare easier be friends with me than fight with mine enemy.
Is Claudio thine enemy?
Is he not approved in the height of villain that has slandered, scorned, and dishonored my kinswoman? Oh, that I were a man! What? Bear her in hand until they come to take hands, and then with public accusation, uncovered slander, unmitigated render? Oh, that I were a man! I would eat his heart in the marketplace!
Hear me, Beatrice.
Talk with the man out of window, a proper saying.
Nay, but Beatrice.
Sweet hero, she is wronged, she is slandered, she is undone.
Beatrice.
Princes and counties, surely, a wonderful testimony, a goodly count comeback, a sweet gallant, surely. Oh, that I were a man for his sake, or that I had any friend who would be a man for my sake. But manhood is melted into curtsies, valor into compliment, and manner only turned into tongue, and trim ones too. He is now as valiant as Hercules that only tells a lie and swears it. I cannot be a man with wishing. Therefore, I will die a woman with grieving.
Tarry, Beatrice. By this hand, I love you.
Use it for my love some other way than swearing by it.
Think you in your soul Count Claudio hath wronged Hero?
Yea, as sure as I have a thought or soul.
Enough. I am engaged. I will challenge him. I will kiss your hand, and so I leave you. By this hand, Claudio shall render me a dear account. As you hear of me, so think of me. Go, come for your cousin. I must say she is dead, and so farewell.
Is our whole assembly appeared?
Oh, a stool and a cushion for the sexton.
Which be the malefactors?
Marry, that am I, and my brother.
Nay, that's certain. We have the exhibition to examine.
But what shall the offenders that are to be examined? Let them come before Master Constable.
Yea, marry, let them come before me. What is your name, friend?
Braccio.
Pray, write down Borachio. And yours, Sirrah?
I am a gentleman, sir, and my name is Conrad.
Write down Master, Gentleman, Conrad. Masters, do you serve God?
Yes, sir.
We hope.
Right, they hope they serve God. And write God first, for God defend, but God should go before such villains. Masters, it is proved already you are little better than false knaves, and will go near to be thought so shortly. How answer you for yourselves?
Marry, sir, we say we are none.
A marvelous witty fellow, I assure you, but I will go about with him. Come you hither, Sirrah, a word in your ear. Sir, I say to you, it is thought you are false knaves.
Sir, I say to you, we are none.
Stand aside. Oh God, they are both in a tale. Have you written down that? They are not.
must start with the watch.
Aye, Mary, that's the aftest way. Let the watch come forth. Masters, I charge you, in the prince's name, accuse these men.
This man said, sir, that Don John, the prince's brother, was a villain.
Write down Prince John a villain. Why, this is flat perjury to call Prince's brother villain.
Master Constable.
Pray thee, fellow, peace. I do not like thy look, I promise thee.
But perjure themselves!
Marry, that he did exceed 1,000 ducats of Don John for accusing Lady Hero wrongfully.
Flat burglary as ever was committed.
What else, Philip? And that Count Claudio did mean, upon his word, to disgrace the Lady Hero before the whole congregation and not marry her.
Oh, villain. Thou will be condemned into everlasting redemption for this.
What else? This is all. And listen, more masters than you can deny. Prince John is this very morning secretly stolen away. He was in this manner accused, and in this very manner refused. And upon the break of this, he suddenly died. Yes, constable, let this be bowed and brought before Leonardo. I will go before and show him their examination.
Come, let them be opinions.
Let them be
I'll come soon! My life, where's the sexton? Let him write down the prince's officer, Coxcomb. Come, bring them away, thou naughty varlet.
Away! You are an ass! You are an ass!
Dost thou not suspect my place? Dost thou not suspect my years? Oh, that you were here to write me down an ass. Yet, master, remember that I am an ass. Though be not written down, yet forget not that I am an ass. No, thou villain, thou art full of piety, and shall be proved upon thee by good witness. I am a wise fellow. And, which is more, an officer. And, which is more, a householder. And, which is more, as pretty a piece of flesh as any is in Messina. The one that knows the law, go to. And a rich fellow enough, go to. And a fellow that hath had losses. And one that hath 2 gowns, and everything handsome about him. Bring him away. Oh, that I had been writ down an ass!
If you go on us, you will kill yourself. And it is not wisdom thus to set in grief against yourself.
I pray thee, cease thy counsel, which falls into mine ears as profitless as water in a sieve. Give not me counsel, nor let no comforter delight mine ear. Let such a one whose wrongs do suit with mine. Bring me a father who so loved his child, whose joy of her was overwhelmed like mine, and bid him speak of patience. Brother, there is no such man. For, brother, men can counsel and speak comfort to that pain that they themselves not feel, but tasting it, their counsel turns to passion, which before would give perceptual medicine to rage, bind strong madness in a silken thread, charm ache with air and agony with words. Now, 'tis all men's office to speak patience to those that rig under the load of sorrow, but no man's virtue nor sufficiency to be so moral when he shall endure the like himself. Therefore give me no counsel. My griefs cry louder than advertisement.
Therein do men from children nothing differ.
I pray thee, peace! I will be flesh and blood. For there was never yet philosopher who could endure the toothache patiently. However, they have written the style of the gods and made a push of chance and sufferance.
yet bend not all the harm upon thyself. Make those that do offend you suffer too.
Here thou speak'st reason. Nay, I will do it. My soul doth tell me hero is belied. That shall Claudio know. So shall the prince and all of them that thus dishonor her.
Comes the prince and Claudio hastily.
Good Ian, good Ian.
Good day to you both.
Hear you, my lord?
We have some haste, Leonato.
Some haste, my lord? Well then, fare you well, my lord. Are you so hasty then? Well, all is one.
Nay, do not quarrel with us, old man.
If he could right himself with quarreling, some of us would lie low.
Who wrongs him? Thou, Claudio, thou dissembler, thou. Nay, never lay thy hand upon thy sword, I fear thee not.
Marry, beshrew my hand if it should give thy age such cause of fear. It bathed my hand meant nothing to my sword.
Tush, tush, man, never fleer and jest at me. I speak not like a dotard nor a fool, who under privilege of age to brag, what I have done being young, or what would do were I not old. No, Claudio, to thy head, that thou hast so wronged mine innocent child and me, that I am forced to lay my reverence by, and with gray hairs and bruises of many days, do challenge thee to a trial of a man. I say thou hast destroyed mine innocent child. Thy slander hath gone through and through her heart, and she lies now in a tomb of her ancestors, in a tomb where scandal never slept. Save this of hers, framed by thy villainy.
My villainy?
Thine, Claudio, thine, I say.
You say not right, old man.
I'll prove it on his body if he dare, despite his nice fence, and his active practice, his May of youth, and his bloom of lustihood.
I will not have to do with you.
Canst thou so daff me? Thou hast killed my child. If thou killst me, boy, thou shalt kill a man.
He shall kill two of us, and men indeed. But that's no matter. Let him kill one first. Win me and wear me. Let him answer me. Come, follow me, boy. Come, sir boy, come follow me. Sir boy, I'll whip you from your pointing fence. Nay, as I am a gentleman, I will. Brother, content yourself. I know I love my niece, and she is dead. Slandered to death by villains that dare as well answer a man indeed as I dare take a serpent by the tongue. Boys, apes, braggarts, jacks, milksops.
Brother Anthony.
All due content. What then? I know them, yea, and what they weigh even to the utmost scruple. Scrambling, outfacing, fashion-monging boys that lie and cog and flout, deprave and slander, go antically, show outward hideousness, and speak off half a dozen dangerous words, how they might hurt their enemies if they durst. And this is all.
But brother Antony,
come. This is no matter. Do not you meddle. Let me deal in this.
Gentlemen both, we will not wait your patience. My heart is sorry for your daughter's death, but on my honor, she was charged with nothing but what was true and very full of proof.
my lord, my lord.
I will not hear you.
No, come away, brother. I will be heard.
And shall, or some of us will smart for it.
See, here comes the man we went to seek.
What news, senor?
Very well. Good day.
Welcome, Signor. You are almost come to part almost a fray.
We would like to have had our two noses snapped off by two old men without teeth.
Leonato and his brother. What thinkest thou? Had we fought, I doubt we should have been too young for them.
In a false quarrel there is no true valor. I came to seek you both.
We have been up and down to seek thee, for we are high-proof melancholy, and would fain have it beaten away. Wilt thou use thy wit?
It is in my scabbard. Shall I draw it?
Dost thou wear thy wit by thy side?
Never any did so, though very many have been beside their wits. I will bid you draw, as we do the minstrels. Draw to pleasure us.
As I am an honest man. He looks pale. Art thou sick or angry?
What courage, man! What though care kill the cat, thou hast metal enough in thee to kill care.
So meet your wit in the career. And you charge it against me, I pray you. Choose another subject.
Nay then, give him another staff. This last was broke cross.
By this light, he changes more and more. I think he be angry indeed.
If he be, he knows how to turn his gift.
Shall I speak a word in your ear?
God bless me from a challenge.
You are a villain. I jest not. I will make it good how you dare, with what you dare, and when you dare. Do me right, or I will protest your cowardice. You have killed a sweet young lady, and her death shall fall heavy on you. Let me hear from you.
Well, I will meet you, so I may have a good cheer.
What? A feast? A feast?
Yet bid me to a calf's head and a capon, which if I do not carve most curiously, save my knife's knots. Why not get a woodcock too?
Sir, your wit ambles well. It goes easily.
I'll tell thee how Beatrice praised thy wit the other day. I said thou hast a fine wit. True, says she, a fine little one. No, said I, a great wit. Right, says she, a great gross one. Nay, says I, a good wit. Just, says she, it hurts nobody. Thus did she an hour together, trends shake thy particular virtues. Yet at last she concluded, with a sigh, thou wast the properest man in Italy.
For the which she wept heartily, and said she cared not.
Yea, that she did. And yet for all that, and she did not hate him deadly, she would love him dearly. The old man's daughter told us all.
All. And moreover, God saw him when he was hid in the garden.
But when shall we see the savage bull's horns on the sensible Benedict's head?
Yea, and text underneath, here dwells Benedict, the married man.
Fare you well, boy. You know my mind. I will leave you now to your gossip-like humor. You break just as braggarts do their blades, which, God be thanked, hurt not. My lord, for your many courtesies, I thank you. I must discontinue your company. Your brother the bastard is fled from Messina. You have among you killed a sweet and innocent lady, and her death shall fall heavy on you. As for my lord Lackerbeard there, he and I shall meet. Till then, peace be with him.
He is in earnest.
In most profound earnest, and I'll warrant you for the love of Beatrice.
And hath challenged thee.
Most sincerely.
What a pretty thing man is when he goes in his doublet and hose and leaves off his wit. But soft you, let me be. Pluck up my heart and be sad. Did he not say my brother was fled?
Come you, sir, and justice cannot tame you. She shall ne'er weigh more reasons in her balance. Nay, you be a cursing hypocrite once, you must be looked to.
How now? 2 of my brother's men bound. Borachio one.
Hearken after their offense, my lord.
Officers, what offense have these men done?
Marry, sir, they have committed false report. Moreover, they have spoken untruths. Secondarily, they are slanders. Sixth and lastly, they have belied a lady. Thirdly, they have verified unjust things. And, to conclude, they are lying knaves.
First, I ask thee what they have done. Thirdly, I ask thee what's their offense. Sixth, and lastly, why they are committed. And to conclude, what you lay to their charge.
Right, reasons. And in his own division. By my troth, there's one leading well suited.
Who have you offended, masters, that you are thus bound to your answer? This learned constable is too cunning to be understood. What's your offense?
Sweet prince, let me go no further to mine answer. Do you hear me, and let this count kill me? I have deceived even your very eyes. What your wisdoms could not discover, these shallow fools have brought to light. Who in the night have heard confessing to this man how Don John, your brother, incensed me to slander the lady hero. How you were brought into the orchard and saw me court Margaret in Hero's garments. How you disgraced her when you should have married her. My villainy they have upon record, which I had rather seal with my death than repeat over to my shame. This lady is dead, upon mine and my master's false accusations. And briefly, I desire nothing but the reward of the villain.
It's not this speech like iron through your blood?
I had drunk poison whilst he uttered it.
Did my brother set thee on to this?
Yea, and pay me richly for the practice of it.
He is composed and framed of treachery. And fled he is upon this villainy.
Sweet hero, now thy image doth appear in a rare semblance that I loved at first.
Come, bring them away. By this time our sexton hath reformed Signor Leonato of the matter. And masters, do not forget to specify, when time and place shall serve, that I am an ass.
Here comes Master Signor Leonato, and the sexton too.
Which of these is the villain? Let me see his eyes. When I note another man like him, I may avoid him. Which of these is he?
No longer look on me.
Art thou the slave who with thy breath hast killed mine innocent child?
Even I alone.
No, not so, villain. Thou beliest thyself. Here stand a pair of honorable men. A third is fled that had a hand in it. I thank you, princes, for my daughter's death. Recorded with your high and worthy deeds. 'Twas bravely done, if you bethink you of it.
I know not how to pray your patience, yet I must speak. Choose your revenge yourself. Impose me to whatever penance your revenge can lay upon my sin. Yet sin not I, but in mistaking.
By my soul, nor I. And yet, to satisfy this good old man, I would bend under any heavy weight that he'll enjoin me to.
I cannot bid you bid my daughter live. That were impossible. But I pray you both, possess the people in Messina here how innocent she died, and if your love can labor aught in sad invention, hang her an epitaph upon her tomb, and sing it to her bones. Sing it tonight. Tomorrow come you to my house. And since you could not be my son-in-law, be yet my nephew. My brother hath a daughter, almost the copy of the child that's dead. And she alone is heir to both of us. Give her the right you should have given her cousin, and so dies my revenge.
Oh, noble sir, your overkindness doth wring tears from me. I do accept your offer, and for henceforth dispose of poor Claudio.
Tomorrow then I will expect your coming. Tonight I take my leave. This naughty man shall face to face be brought with Margaret, who I believe was packed in all this wrong, hired to it by your brother.
No! By my soul she was not, nor knew not what she did when she spoke to me. But I've always been just and virtuous in all that I do know by her.
Moreover, sir, which indeed is not under black and white, this plaintiff here, the offender, did call me ass. I beseech you, let it be remembered in his punishment.
I thank thee for thy care and honest pains.
Your worship speaks like a
Here's for thy pains.
God save the foundation.
Go! I discharge thee of the prisoner, and I thank thee.
I leave an errant name with your worship, which I beseech your worship to correct for the example of others. God keep your worship. I wish your worship well. God restore you to health. I humbly give you leave to depart. And if a merry meeting may be wished, why, God prohibit it.
Until tomorrow morning, lords. Farewell.
Farewell, my lord. We look for you tomorrow. We will not fail.
Tonight I'll mourn with Hero.
Bring you these fellows on. We'll talk with Margaret. How her acquaintance grew with this lewd fellow.
Pray thee, sweet mistress Margaret, call Beatrice for me.
I will call my lady, who I think has legs.
And therefore will come. The god of love that sits above and knows me, how pitifully I deserve. I mean in rhyming, but in loving. Leander, the good swimmer. Troilus, the first employer of panders, and a whole book full of these quondam carpet-mongers, whose names yet run evenly on a smooth road of blank verse. Why, they were never so truly turned over and over as my poor self in love. Mary, I cannot show it in rhyme. I have tried. I can find out no rhyme for lady, but baby, an innocent rhyme. For scorn, horn, a hard rhyme. For school, fool, a babbling rhyme. Very ominous endings. I was not born under a rhyming planet. Or I cannot woo in festival terms. Oh, sweet Beatrice, wouldst thou come when I called thee?
Yea, Signor, and depart when you bid me.
Oh, stay but till then.
Then is spoken very well. And yet, ere I go, let me go with that which I came for, which is knowing what hath passed between you and Claudio.
Only foul words. And thereupon I will kiss thee.
Thou wind, but thou wind, and thou wind, thou breath, and thou breath is noisome. Therefore I will depart unkissed.
Thou hast frightened the word out of its proper sense, so forcible is thy wit. But I must tell thee plainly, Claudio undergoes my challenge, and I must hear from him shortly. I will subscribe him a coward. And now tell me, for which of my bad parts didst thou first fall in love with me?
For all of them together, which maintain so politic a state of evil that they will not allow any good part to intermingle with them. But for which of my good parts did you first suffer love for me?
Suffer love? A good epithet. I do suffer love indeed, for I love you against my will.
In spite of your heart, I think. Alas, poor heart. If you spite it for my sake, I will spite it for yours, for I will never love that which my friend hates.
Thou and I are too wise to move peaceably.
It appears not in this confession. There's not one wise man among 20 that will praise himself.
Oh, an old instance, Beatrice, that lived in the time of good neighbors. If a man do not erect his tomb in his own age ere he dies, he shall live no longer in monument than the bell rings or the widow weeps.
And how long is that, think you?
Question. Why an hour in clamor and a quarter in room? It is expedient for the wise, therefore, if Don were, his conscience finding no impediment to the contrary, to be the trumpet of his own virtues, as I am to myself. So much for praising myself, who I myself will bear witness is praiseworthy. And now tell me, how doth your cousin?
Very ill.
How do you?
Very ill, too.
Serve God, love me and men. Oh, and there will I leave you too, for here comes one in haste.
Madam, you must come to your uncle. Yonder's old coil at home. It is proved my lady here hath been falsely accused, the prince and Claudio mightily abused, and Don John is the author of all, who is fled and gone. Will you come?
Will you hear this news, Signor?
I will live in thy heart, die in thy lap, and be buried in thine eyes. And moreover, I will go thee to thy office.
Is this the monument of Leonardo? It is, my lord. Done to death by slanderous tongues was the hero that here lies. Death, engirded of her wrongs, gives her fame which never dies. So the life that died with shame lives in death with glorious fame. Hang thou there upon the tomb, praising her when I am dumb. Now music, sound, and sing thy solemn hymn.
Pardon, goddess of night, the dark
those that slew thy virgin night. For the which with songs of woe, round about her tomb they go. Midnight, assist our moan, help us to sigh and groan. Heavily, heavily. Graves yawn and yield your dead, till death be uttered. Heavily, heavily.
Now, unto thy bones, good night. Yearly will I do this right.
Good morrow, masters. We'll put our torch now out. The wolves have preyed, and look, the gentle day, before the wheels of Phoebus round about, dapples the drowsy east with spots of gray. Thanks to you, and leave us. Fare you well.
Good morrow, masters. Each his several way.
Come, let us hence, and put on other weeds, and then to Leonato's we will go.
And Hymen now with luck your issue speeds. And this, for whom we rendered up this will.
Did I not tell you she was innocent?
So are the Prince and Claudio, who accused her on the air you heard debated. But Margaret was in some fault for this, although against her will, as it appears in the true course of all the question.
Well, I am glad that all things sort so well.
And so am I, else being by faith enforced to call you and Claudio to a reckoning for it.
Daughter, and you gentlewomen all, withdraw into a chamber by yourselves, and when I send for you, come hither masked. Prince and Claudio promised by this hour to visit me. You know your office, brother. You must be father to your brother's daughter and give her to young Claudio.
And this will I do.
With confirmed contract. Friar, I must entreat your pains, I think.
To do what, signor?
To bind me, or undo me, one of them. Signor Leonardo, truth it is, good signor, your niece regards me with an eye of favor.
That I my daughter lent her, 'tis most true.
And I do with an eye of love requite her.
The sight whereof I think you had from me, the prince, and Claudio. But what's your will?
Your answer, sir, is enigmatical. But for my will is that your goodwill should be with ours. This day to be conjoined in a state of honorable marriage.
My heart is with your liking,
and my help. Here comes the Prince and Claudio.
Good morrow to this fair assembly.
Good morrow, Prince. Good morrow, Claudio. We here attend you. Are you yet determined to marry with my brother's daughter?
Aye, I'll hold my mind.
Call her forth, brother. Here's the friar. Ready?
Good morrow, Benedict. Why, what's the matter? That you have such a February face, so full of frost, of storm, of cloudiness.
I think he thinks upon the savage bull. Fear not, man. We'll tip thy horns with gold, and all Europa shall rejoice at thee, as once Europa did at lusty Jove, when he would play the noble beast in love.
Bull Jove, sir, had an amiable low, and one such strange bull leaped your father's cow, and got a calf out of the same noble feet. Much like to you, for you have just as bleed.
For this I owe you. Here comes other reckonings. Which is the lady I must seize upon?
This same is she, and I do give you her.
Why then she's mine. Sweet, let me see your face.
No, that shall you not. You take her hand before this friar and swear to marry her.
Give me your hand. Before this holy friar, I am your husband, if you like of me.
And when I lived, I was your other wife. And when you loved, you were my other husband.
Another hero?
Nothing certain. One hero died defiled, but I do live. And surely as I live, I am a maid.
The former hero. Hero that is dead.
She died, my lord, but whiles her slander lived.
All this amazement cannot qualify when after that the holy rites are ended. I'll tell thee largely a fair hero's death. Meantime, let wonder seem familiar, and to the chapel let us presently.
Soft and fair, friar. Which is Beatrice?
I answer to that name. What is your will?
Do not you love me?
Why, no. No more than reason.
Why then? Your uncle, the prince, and Claudio have been deceived. They swore you did.
Do not you love me?
Troth no. No more than reason.
Well, then my cousin Margaret and Ursula were much deceived, for they did swear you did.
They swore you were almost sick for me.
They swore you were well nigh dead for me.
'Tis no such matter. Then you do not love me?
No, but in friendly recompense.
Come, cousin, I am sure you love the gentleman.
And I'll be sworn upon it that he loves her, for here's a paper written in his head. A halting sonnet of his own pure brain, fashioned to Beatrice.
And here's another, written in my cousin's hand, containing her affection unto Benedict.
A miracle! Here's our hand against our hearts. Come, I'll have thee, but by this light, I take thee for pity.
I would not deny you, but by this good day I yield upon great persuasion, and partly to save your life, for I was told you were in consumption.
Peace! I will stop your mouth.
How dost thou, Benedict, the married man?
I'll tell thee what, prince. A college of wit crackers cannot flout me out of my good humor. Dost thou think I care for a satire or an epigram? No. If a man shall be beaten with brains, I shall wear nothing handsome about it. In brief, since I do purpose to marry, I shall think of nothing to any purpose that can be said against it. And therefore never flout me for things I have said against it, for man is a giddy thing, and this is my conclusion. For thy part, Claudio, I think to have beaten thee. But in that thou art like to be my kinsman, live unbruised and love my cousin.
For my part, I had well hoped thou wouldst have denied Beatrice, that I might have cudgelled thee out of thy single life to make thee a double dealer, which out of question thou wilt be if my cousin do not look exceedingly narrowly to thee.
Come, we are friends! Let's have a dance ere we are married, that we may lighten our hearts and our wives' heels.
We'll have dancing afterwards.
Oh, first of my word, therefore play music. Prince, thou art sad. Get thee a wife, get thee a wife!
My lord, your brother John is taken in flight and brought with our men back to Messina.
Well, think not on him till tomorrow. I'll devise thee brave punishments for him. Strike up, pipers.
endured and hopefully enjoyed doing this for several months. And they have put a lot of work and a lot of effort into it. We're very proud of them. So I'd like to just present them with some tokens of our directorial action.
Sometimes they're totally unappreciated, but we really appreciate them. So could our crew please come out?
Thank you. Please join us for refreshments upstairs.